So today we will be dividing this duodenum on the basis of structure on the and the function. We will be dividing this duodenum on the function on the basis of function and structure, right? So we will divide this duodenum into two parts, which are exocrine part and the endocrine part. This is known as exocrine part and other will be endocrine part. Okay, remember this thing that whenever I talk about exocrine gland, right, what does that mean? It means that there is duct is present, right? Duct, like the secretion will be transformed from one place to another place by the help of duct, right? So that's why they are known as exocrine gland. But when I talk about endocrine gland, what does that mean? Actually, the secretions are transferred into the bloodstream, and by the help of bloodstream it will move from one place to another place. Means these are ductless gland. Ductless gland, right? So in exocrine gland there is always enzymes, like enzymes will be released, right? These are the enzymes. But when we talk about endocrine system, it will release hormones. It will release hormones basically. So exocrine gland releases enzymes and endocrine gland releases hormones, right? So now let's talk about first of all detail, like let's talk about exocrine gland in detail, the exocrine part of duodenum, and then we'll be talking about the endocrine part of duodenum in detail, right? So first of all, we are having that this exocrine gland will secrete mucus, which is not enzyme, but obviously it will be present for the process of lubrication, right? Mucus will be released. Okay, second, there are some enzymes known as peptidases. Peptidases, right? Okay, now these peptidases can be these can be exopeptidase and these can be endopeptidase too. We will talk about this peptidase more in pancreas, right? We will be talking about in detail about this peptidases. For now, just keep it to the introduction, right? So this exocrine part releases mucus for the process of lubrication. Right? To soft to food, right? Second, we are that it will release peptidases. It can be exo and endo, right? Second, it will release some hormones, like some local hormones, right? It will release this local hormones. Okay, and I have taught you that who releases this local hormones. Pant cells, which are present in crypts of Leber-Cohen, release this local enzymes. These are local enzymes are produced. For example, we are having amylase, right? First of all, we are having amylase. Okay, what's the function of amylase? Right? Amylase will convert starch into maltose. This is the function of amylase. It will convert starch into maltose, right? Second, we are having is lipase. What will be the function of lipase? That it will convert these lipids into 3 fatty acids plus glycerol, right? What is the function of lipase? It will convert these lipids into 3 fatty acids and 1 glycerol, right? Third, we are having is lactase. So what is lactase? Lactase is basically milk sugar, right? So what will do? It will convert, like lactase will convert lactose into 1 glucose plus 1 galactose, and galactose is also known as nerve sugar, right? Right, lactose will be converted into 1 glucose and 1 galactose, right? Number fourth we are having is sucrase. Is sucrase. And what is the function of this sucrase? It will convert sucrose. What is sucrose basically? Sucrose is a table sugar. It's a table sugar whose formula is C12H22O11, right? Its formula is this. Okay, basically this sucrose will be converted into 1 glucose and 1 fructose. Basically alpha glucose and beta fructose, right? Now other we are having is maltose. Enzyme is maltase, right? What will be the work of maltase? That the maltose which has been converted into the starch which has been converted into maltose by amylase, it will convert that maltose into two molecules of glucose, in 2 molecules of glucose. So I hope these are the some enzymes which are the known as local enzymes. Okay, and the other we are having is enterokinase. Okay, something else we are having is enterokinase. Now what is this? Basically this is a enzyme which is released by the cells known as enterocytes, which are released by the cells known as enterocytes. Basically this enterokinase is also known as key. So what is the work of this enterokinase? That it will convert trypsinogen. Okay, what is trypsinogen? It is actually the proteolytic enzyme which is in inactive form, right? Inactive form, and it will convert this trypsinogen into trypsin, right? And it is the active form by when enterokinase will work in this when enterokinase will work on trypsinogen, it will convert the inactive form of inactive trypsinogen into active trypsin. Actually this trypsinogen and trypsin are the proteolytic enzymes, right? I hope this is clear to you. The exocrine part is clear to you, right? Okay, let's move into the endocrine part. So second, which is endocrine part, right? Okay, I told you this endocrine means that it will release the hormones in the bloodstream, and these are ductless. These are actually ductless and they'll release hormones, right? Okay, now let's talk about hormones, which are number 1 we are having cholecystokinin. Basically this cholecystokinin is known as CCK, right? Cholecystokinin, the short form, and it is also known as peptide hormone. This is known as peptide hormone, What is the work of this cholecystokinin? That basically, okay, this cholecystokinin is, okay, this chole, the whenever the word chole comes, that means gallbladder. Whenever the word chole comes, it means gallbladder, right? So what is the work of this cholecystokinin? It will stimulate gallbladder and pancreas to release their secretions, right? It will stimulate to release their secretion. Basically, it will go to the gallbladder and it will stimulate that please release bile, and it will go to pancreas and ask to it that please release enzyme. So in pancreas, it is responsible to release enzymes, right? Okay, whenever, like, okay, this CCK, cholecystokinin, is released by eye cells. This is released by eye cells. Okay, whenever that that chyme is quite acidic, right? Whenever this chyme comes to the duodenum, right? So whenever it comes, so this cholecystokinin is released and it will stimulate pancreas and gallbladder in order to release bile and pancreatic juice, and that will convert the duodenum into alkaline. So whenever the acidic chyme comes, these are stimulated, like the receive like message is sent, stimulus is sent to them that please release, and go to pancreas and gallbladder and ask them to release their secretions, right? Okay, this was a work of cholecystokinin, and this cholecystokinin is also known as neural hormone. This is also known as neural hormone. Okay, and other we are having is secretin. And other hormone we are having is known as secretin, which is released by S cells, which are present in duodenum, right? Secretin is released by S cells in duodenum. Okay, when does it get message? Okay, whenever the acidic chyme reaches the duodenum, it will get message that please get released and go to pancreas. Basically, it stimulates gallbladder and pancreas. Okay, what will happen in pancreas? That it will go to pancreas and ask it to release bicarbonate ions and water. So the hormone which is responsible, this was a past paper question, that the hormone which is responsible to secrete bicarbonate ions from pancreas is, so the answer was secretin. So secretin is responsible to release bicarbonate ions and water, whereas the enzymes of pancreas are released, like are stimulated by the cholecystokinin. Okay, these are the things that can be asked. Okay, whenever in the duodenum the pH reaches to the 4 pH, like pH becomes low, pH drops. When pH drops to 4, right, this secretin and cholecystokinin are released. Secretin and cholecystokinin are released, right? Okay, over here we are also having this G cells. We are also having G cells, which are known as they will release gastrin, right? So this gastrin will also stimulate pancreas and gallbladder. Pancreas and this gallbladder, right? Okay, and other we are having over here are cells known as K cells. In duodenum we are having another cells which are known as K cells. What they release? They release polypeptide inhibitory, yes, polyinhibitory polypeptide inhibitory, this was something, polypeptide inhibitory hormone, I guess, polypeptide inhibitory hormone, which is released by basically by the K cells. Okay, what is the function of this hormone? Is that it will go in stomach and it will decrease the secretion of the gastric juice which is present, like it will decrease the concentration of the gastric juice. Okay, the name is basically GIP, gastric inhibitory peptide, basically. Okay, let me erase this. Gastric inhibitory gastric inhibitory peptide. Okay, what is the function of this cell? That they will go in stomach and they will shut down the gastric secretions, right? Obviously the food is now in the small intestine. Now what's the work of gastric secretion over there? Why, like our body never waste anything, right? This is us that waste, our body never waste. So this gastric inhibitory peptide is also known as GIP, is released by K cells which are present in the duodenum. It releases gastric inhibitory peptide, right, which actually shut down the gastric secretion. Okay, basically, okay, from where the bile is actually released. Okay, bile is actually released. Basically, bile is produced in liver. Bile is basically produced in liver, but for the temporary basis, it is stored in gallbladder. It is stored in gallbladder for the temporary basis. Actually, the bile which comes from liver to the gallbladder is quite diluted. Right, and here it get concentrated. How does it get concentrated? Actually, it absorbs over here. It absorbs water and bicarbonate ions. By absorbing water and bicarbonate ions, it becomes concentrated. The bile which comes from liver is quite diluted and which is not quite it's not quite good level. It will not help in a good way. That's, it will work but not in a good way, right? So in gallbladder it gets stored for a temporary time basis and it will get concentrated, and then this gallbladder will be stimulated by CCK, cholecystokinin, and this will release bile in common bile duct into the pancreas, and from that pancreas, from the Wirsing duct, from the main duct, this will be released into the duodenum. We will talk about this all system in my next video, right? Bile will be released. Basically, bile will be released. Okay. Now we are having this pancreas. In pancreas, the pancreatic juice, the water and bicarbonate ions are released, and these will be stimulated by secretin, right? And then it will release in duodenum. Basically, the enzymes like the water and this bicarbonate ions released are stimulated by secretin, but the enzymes of pancreas are secreted by are stimulated by CCK cholecystokinin, right? So I hope this is clear to you, and this is gastric inhibitory peptide GIP. Okay, it also works in depression too, like when a person is in depression, so this hormone is released because if you know someone who is in depression, they don't want to eat something, right? Why? Because their gastric inhibitory peptide has been increased basically. So this GIP and G, which is gastrin, work antagonist. How? Right? Okay, what's the work of gastrin? It will stimulate the other cells to secrete the secretion. Increase the it will increase the gastric secretion. But what is the work of GIP? It is decreasing the gastric secretion. So they are working as antagonist, right? So I hope this is clear to you. If you are having any kind of question, you can comment me. I'll be glad to